Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I am the world famous Omie D, and once again, I am so elated to have great company with me today on Hoodies and Flip Flops. This is going to be a really interesting episode. If you checking this one out and you don't have children and you know someone that does, you might want to tell them to watch this one because it's going to be a lot of helpful information out there, fellas. This one might be for you. I am joined by Dr. Tan Mattos, who has a bachelor's degree in business, master's degree in international business and organizational behavior, and doctorates in educational leadership. That is amazing. Dr. Tan Mattos, thank you for joining me on Hoodies and Flip Flops. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. I'm glad that you have me on the show. I really appreciate being here.
Awesome. So we got all the professional things out the way, so everyone that's just now listening can feel like, awesome, this is going to be a great, very professional show, and everything's relaxed. But it's not. It's a podcast. We're going to have some fun, and we're going to talk about child support.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a scary word. Halloween wasn't, it's scary, and COVID is scary. But for some people, child support is a scary thing. So I, and I will admit, I do not have children, so I'm currently caught up on my child support. But what, for those of us who don't have to, dive into the child support realm, what is child support? Like, how would you describe child support?
Well, child support is something that was instituted by our government, and it has a great purpose. The purpose was to provide support for children who have a missing parent in the household. So, if there's a missing parent in the household, that parent can provide financial support, mostly financial support, to that child through a system where there's timely payments, and it's supposed to relieve stress from the parent that has the child of recovering those funds.
Okay, so that's the basic, Wikipedia, Google it, which is, I mean, to me, it's a lot better than what Wikipedia or Google said, but that is what child support is. So you have a lot of good education, business and international business, organizational behavior. What brought you to child support?
Okay, so I had my daughter.
Hmm.
I was, long story short, um, I got married at a very young age
Hmm.
and I wanted everything. And my then husband, he just didn't want too much. And we were very good friends. So we decided to get a divorce. I mean, he's a very good guy to
Yeah.
this day, nothing but good things. And I found out I was pregnant.
Hmm.
And it was like I didn't want to get remarried. So I raised my daughter as a single parent. And my idea going into that situation was if I'm struggling, I know for sure he's struggling. We both can struggle and raise this kid. He does what he can. I do everything I can, and the kid won't fall short.
Hmm.
And that was my take as a woman on child support. I mean, not putting my ex husband on child support. And then I went through my life single, so I did a lot of dating. And one of the requirements was no kids. Like I just like you, I heard so many bad things
Hmm.
about baby mama drama, and baby mama drama doesn't know ethnicity. It doesn't know
Thank you.
your pay scale. Baby mama drama comes in all shapes and sizes.
Hmm.
So I didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I didn't deal with it. Dated no men with, I had a total double standard.
Yeah.
But, I felt like I could do that.
Well, you
And so
can.
that's what it was. Yeah, I did. But it's so funny. God is really funny. He has a huge sense of humor. I actually met a man and I fell in love with him,
Hmm.
and he had a child. And I
Oh.
was like, well, it's okay. It's fine. Take a chance.
Yeah.
And so we end up getting married, and the drama came.
Hmm.
And he is such a great dad. And of course, she put him on child support. And that wasn't the kicker. Let me take a drink.
Oh yeah, let's do that. Everybody, if you're here and you're in an Omie D podcast, you know it's time to take a drink.
Yeah, let's take a drink.
Hmm.
I don't know if any of your listeners ever have been to family court, but it is one of the most negative. It's like one step above hell. It's like purgatory. You walk into family court, the waiting area, the tension is so thick,
Yeah.
the hatred is so deep. It's terrible. And so the judge decided my husband's child support on money he never made. If
Mm,
you're an entrepreneur and you charge somebody $50 to paint their house, you don't keep $50. I mean, that's just common sense. You have to buy supplies.
true.
This judge didn't care. So my husband started off in the hole and it was horrible.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, it was unbelievable. Unless you've seen it, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
You would not believe
Well,
it.
well, and I'm just going to interject right quick because you're on the other side of a fence that you really don't hear about a lot. You always hear about the side of the guy that's not paying the child support, or the guy he's established a new family and all that, and he don't want to pay, this, that, and the other. But you know, everybody is not just running off and just not doing anything and ignoring their family. Some guys are really trying, and some of these judges, like, I mean, I'm not going to say what's fair and what's not fair. Some of these guys that I've talked to are paying house notes for some of these kids. And there's nothing wrong with that, everybody. I'm not saying that that's not, shouldn't be, it takes a lot to raise a kid. But there are, but they are people still. They are people still. Just because they're not involved in that child's life, they are still people. And you are so right. I had one instance where I was able to go to family court with a previous girlfriend over custody over her son and all that. And yeah,
Mm,
it's like walking into a funeral home and you slept with
mm,
everybody's daddy that's dead today, or
mm.
everybody's mama that's dead today, and everybody hates you because they left all the money to you, you know, and
Yes.
all you're here for, and especially like me in my case, I'm just here as support for my at the time girlfriend, and as for the little dude, I'm just there to, be a supportive influence in little dude's life. But the daggers and stuff, yeah, family court. If you've never been to it, it ain't people's court, and
Yeah.
it ain't divorce court that you see on TV at all.
Yeah, you need to do a whole podcast on family court
Mm.
because that's a whole issue. That's a whole issue.
Oh, it's so
But
bad.
just to cycle back,
Hmm.
my husband's such a great father, and he's such a, to be honest, we've been together over a decade. He's such a good man. I realized I was wrong, to have that prejudice against you men.
Hmm.
There are good fathers. Good fathers do exist.
Yes.
Not that I thought you were bad as a sex, but society has just painted if that man's on child support, he's like one penny away from being a deadbeat dad.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So he's
It's
my inspiration. I felt so bad for him to see this. He's like one of the greatest men I know. To see this great man just devastated with no resources, no, and I'm like, you know what? God made me a problem solver. I need to solve it. I
hmm
need to solve it. And so he is the reason why I got into the realm of back child support.
that is amazing. That's amazing, and that's an awesome story of support. Like, and not child support, but just support, like believing in someone and then doing what's right, and just trying. It's so awesome. Like I said, when we connected first, and you enlightened me to what you did, like, my eyes perked up. I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting because I'm not
Mhm.
putting people's business out there, but I know some people that are behind on some child support, and so they could probably
Mhm.
use some good
Tell them to
advice.
come out at me.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. So I was
Mhm.
like, this is the type of information that needs to be captured and put out to the world so they can check that out and learn a little bit more about what's going on. So um, I'm so inspired by the whole thing. So we're gonna we're gonna take a little scene change right here, magically.
Okay.
Boom ba doo doo. I love that. That's like the favorite part of doing podcasts when I get to change scenes. Like I feel like I have a
Hmm.
real TV show. It's like, look at this. Do 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 do. So sorry.
I love it.
I make
I
sound
love the
effects.
energy.
Sound effects. Oh my goodness. So we're talking child support. We're talking back child support, especially. So, what is back child support for those who don't realize what that is?
Okay, so once a judge makes an order, like let's go back to my husband's case.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he made an order, and my husband fought it for so long that it accumulated to something like a huge amount.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're talking double figures.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. And so what happens is you've got your current support order. Let's say you're supposed to pay 200 a week. So 246, 800 a month.
Mm-hmm.
If you get behind, will take $200 a week out of your check. And then they will also take an additional amount to
Mm-hmm.
go towards your arrears, your back child support. That's what you are in the arrears for. Now, hold on to this thought.
Okay.
Your arrears uh, have an interest, all
Oh,
right?
like a credit
You've
card.
got fathers, thank you. You've got fathers that are being fined for their children like they're things.
That's
I,
kind of.
I, I've helped fathers who owe less than $3,000 in child support, and they've got over $10,000 in interest, and they will not budge.
10,000. What is that like?
Interest,
80% interest or something?
interest. It is highway robbery.
So, does the kid even see the interest, or does that go straight to the government?
The government takes a cut. The states get a cut of the money they recoup for child support. And I mean, I have to be very careful
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to, I'm a rebel,
Yes.
but I'm more of an advocate than a rebel.
Okay. Okay.
Because don't forget, I come from Montgomery, Alabama, which is the heart of the civil rights movement.
Exactly.
And what I've learned and what history has taught me, if you come in on what was Miley Cyrus coming in on
A wrecking ball.
yeah, if you come in on a wrecking ball,
Mm-hmm.
they will wreck you because I don't have the resources to defend myself on that level.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to attack the state for what they do.
Yeah.
Like anything else, everybody has to get paid.
True.
But it's not fair because it devastates the parent that you said that child needs.
Yeah. Like the interest part. See, I didn't know. I didn't know there was
Oh,
interest on
yeah.
that. That
Oh,
makes it,
yeah.
and that's horrible because like
Yep.
and and that's so bad that the government, and like I said, we're not going after you, government, but
Yep. We're not
you
going after
you
you.
tack such a large interest amount on there so you can get a large cut of it. But I'm just going to be
Mm-hmm.
real. If you were taking so much, you should probably do a lot better with management on the
Mm-hmm.
system that you're taking that money for. So so now guys have this interest on top of their their
Yes.
arrears, and so now they're taking the 200 that's my normal payment, and they're taking extra that goes to my arrears,
Extra 400.
extra 400. But that does that
Mm-hmm.
even cover the interest? Is that a minimum payment like
No.
a credit card?
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh,
There you go.
so you
Absolutely.
you just chunked over
You're
400
drowning.
and you only getting
You're
100.
drowning.
Wow.
You're drowning. And that's why a lot of fathers can't pay the back child support and they're devastated. They just don't know what to do.
I was
And let's talk about this picture right here. Child support is for absent fathers, not failed relationships.
I agree.
You got fathers that they're not there because they're not with the mother. All right.
Hmm.
I get that. And there's fathers that just need to be forced to take care of their children. I understand that. But the way these mothers use child support, oh, you're not on child support. But as soon as that father moves on, he is definitely on child support.
Yeah.
And they don't even tell, okay, So let's talk about back child support. We're going to whip back around.
Okay.
The mommy doesn't tell the daddy, even though he's coming over to her house spending the night, because she's found out that he's not like true to her, or she's not the only one. So she goes and puts him on child support. He doesn't know. He's on child support for 2 years before he even finds out, because
What?
they're garnishing his check. And then there's a child support order. Exactly. Yes. So a lot of these fathers didn't even know they were on child support.
So
They don't show up, so they're on child support by default because they never receive the proper notification. And a lot of times they still have a relationship with the female, the mom, but it's not like a great relationship. The relationship is failing.
see, and we're not here to badmouth the all child support situations.
No,
We're talking
no.
about these particular child support situations, and they do happen. Let's not act like people don't get mad and go put someone on child support because I have been in my previous life a single man and around women, and I have heard those conversations. And
Mm-hmm.
so I put his ass on child support, and it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
whoa.
You got money to take her out. Nobody's gonna be going with him if he's broke.
Yeah, and so it's just like,
Mhm.
and that is, and this is, hopefully this
And
is
we're talking
enlightened.
about good fathers here,
Yeah,
fathers that support their children.
yeah, the ones that come by are actually doing things and taking care of their
Yes.
children, and then
Mm-hmm.
he decides that he's met a lovely young lady that he'd like to
Mm-hmm.
start a life with, and then boom, the
So,
$1,500 a month child support payment gets kicked in, and I think like I honestly feel like there should have been a conversation that said, hey,
mhm.
well, let's just be real. If that was going to be the process, that should have been the process at the beginning. You know, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but that is a very swift kick in the stomach to take if you've
Mhm.
been doing something for 10 years or 15 years, hopefully not 15 years. And
Some of them have been doing it 15, 18 years. I help fathers where the kid is grown. They're 24, 25 years old. They have a great relationship with their kid, but they owe 20, $30,000 still in back child support because of that interest. They just never get caught up.
and so back child support, that affects like your credit and things as well. Like,
Your credit, your career, if you want to work in law enforcement and you have back child support, they hold it against you because it's not a um, great look on your character if you're behind on child support.
mm, mm,
You can, I don't know if you have the picture with the boot on the car,
I think
but
that's
New
just
York State, they boot your vehicle if you owe back child support. Yep.
I was wondering, I was going to ask you about that. We were just about to get into the images. So you have back child support. They boot your car. So now you have to pay to get the boot off. Do you have to pay for the back child support too to get the
You
boot off?
have to pay the warrant. You have to pay whatever the warrant is for, because your warrant is not for your entire back child support, but people owe so much it doesn't matter because it's such a tremendous amount of money.
So,
If your back child support is 4,000, I think you're supposed to not be at least 3,000 in the arrears. So your warrant will be 3,000. So it'll be 3,000 for the child support and whatever for the tow, the boot, and the longer your car stays there, the storage is ridiculous.
Jesus, that is like, that's not,
It's
this,
hurtful. It's devastating. When I say the word devastating, it's absolutely devastating. And people need to start understanding these fathers are going through this.
because like the guy that's trying to do the right thing and he's got a used car, he doesn't have the greatest credit, doesn't have the greatest job because things, everybody's, just doesn't have the greatest life, but they have children. Now this happens. He doesn't
And
have
they
a
lose their
car.
job
Yep,
because he can't even get to his job anymore.
can't get to his job anymore, and now he is further behind on payment. Man,
Because you can go down and you can ask them to modify your current support, but that does not do anything for your back support, which is still accumulating interest.
so before we just one question, and then we're gonna get into some more images. If a woman, because I know some guys that are single fathers and they take care of their children, and this is an interesting thing because, like I said, love my girlfriend that I'm with now, and she has a child, and her child's father have a great relationship and things like that.
That's
But
awesome.
I've seen some women whose sons live with their father, and I ask them like,
Hmm.
"Well, are you paying child support?" And they're like, "No,"
Yes.
and they'll say no, that he hasn't put them on
Oh,
child support, and I'm going, why? And I know it's a choice, but if a woman owes child support back to child support, does this same type of scenario go into her?
absolutely.
So this is not
Absolutely.
just
And
for
the
men.
only reason, no, and the only reason why I refer to fathers because 9 out of 10 parents that I help, their fathers.
Hmm.
They're 9.5
Yeah.
to count a half of a person. They are mostly dads. There are some moms, very far few and in between that I've dealt with.
Hmm.
Not saying that they're not out there. So that's why I always address them as fathers.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, we're not here to just say one person because, like I said, it always amazed me, and I think it's like I said, I can't judge because I don't have children. But when I would meet women, and I think it's an awesome thing that you let your son go live with his father, in such nature. But, you know, he's been paying child support to you for 12 years. So now you're not going to do child support.
No,
Like, and, but then it's just,
no,
that's so, even now knowing about how this extortion system works, I kind of see why it's a bad thing because you wouldn't want that to happen to your child's mother. Like
no.
that's horrible. And
It would it could devastate her.
yeah, I mean you can't get a job, and that's the person that is, I guess in our minds that is our child's last line of defense. And you
Hmm.
definitely don't want your child's mother to not be able to fend for herself. Like that's, man, this whole system
Can't
is,
rent an apartment. The credit thing is crazy. And I mean, we're not even going to go deep in that, but I mean, you can get denied career opportunities, your jobs, you get denied apartments, you get denied cars. It's crazy. Care credit, the credit that you get for health insurance if something falls short, you get denied that.
wow, wow. Like I say, and just okay. So let's talk about this image right here. Okay,
Yeah,
by gender, you know,
yep.
you said this is 14th Amendment, equal protection under the law. So love the whole male female picture.
Thank
Always,
you.
I love how the female is always in a little triangle dress.
Hmm.
I don't know what year women wore triangle dresses like that. Is that supposed to be a
I wear
sundress?
trying dresses.
Is that
I
a
wear them.
is that a sundress? Like what kind of
That's
dress
a
is that? That's okay.
sundress.
All right. So
Sundress.
the ladies wearing a sundress and the guys either
Yeah.
wearing a onesie or he has no clothes on at all. I have no clue. I have I have no clue. So my question, looking at this image, you have debtor's prison for the guys, and you have
Hmm.
child support Section 810 and free medical tax credit and WIC for the young ladies. So explain to me this image. Just
Okay. Um, First of all, when we decide to have children with whoever we decide to have children with,
hmm
most of the time that person isn't rich. Okay. Because most of society is not rich.
yeah,
We're a very impoverished society, at least my world. I see the statistics, but the statistics don't represent my world.
true.
Um, And like I told you, with my ex husband, my daughter's father, we were both young and struggling. But I had access to Section 8, I
hmm
had access to Medicaid, definitely had access to WIC. When I filed my taxes, I got a chance to carry my daughter earned income tax credit.
hmm hmm
And even though he was struggling just as much, and even though we lived in two different states,
hmm
he was struggling just as much. He was sending just as much as I got my hands on as far as cash.
hmm
Um, he didn't have access to any of that, none of that.
Oh wow, yeah.
All right. And so the moment I say, well, even though I'm struggling and you're struggling, You didn't give me my $5, you're going to go to jail. How is that fair?
It's not. It's not. I mean, because now that you explain that image, I mean, even I, as a single individual with no children, have applied for food stamps. Because you try. You're like, hey, I'm
Of
only
course,
getting a little bit here, and you go there and you fill out all the
of
paperwork and
course.
stuff, and they're like, yeah, $3. $3? Like, what is the difference? Like, why do I get $3
Don't
worth of?
you need to eat to go to work to take care of that kid?
Yeah, yeah. Well, hell, even as someone without kids, I need to eat to go to work to pay taxes to take care of other people.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
this is an amazing thing, and you know, I'm a big politics guy, and there's all this talk recently about socialism and all of this jazz, and you know, I can understand if looking at this list for the ladies and debtor's prison for the guys. If I'm taxed, if everyone's taxed,
Can you hear me? I can't hear you.